looking a bit Great Gatsby today. I've used this scarf. I had this scarf for, I don't know, 20 years, and I think I've used it 3 times. This is the 3rd time. Okay, so today I want to speak with a representative from the first federation that Earth will join after first contact. So I'm sure that we've been in contact with aliens a lot over a long time. I assume that to be true, but it hasn't been official. So I think once we have official first contact, where it's sort of globally known to the people and not just the leaders and military, then I would assume that we would be added to a community, invited to join a community, because that seems to be the way that sentient beings, intelligent beings, organise themselves. So you have your local council, and then you have your state, then you have your nation, then you have groups of nations. And so I'd assume we will be invited to join something which is a group of planets, and they cooperate to help and love and care for each other. So I would like to speak to a representative from that federation that we will join after first contact. Okay? So, let's see what happens. Greetings, and thank you for the question, and thank you for the challenge. You would like to communicate with a representative from the Federation that Earth shall be invited to join following open first contact. You are correct that humans already have been in contact, Earth humans we speak of, in contact with many different alien civilizations over a very long time span. So it's not something new, but what would be new is the global awareness that contact is indeed happening. There have been times in the past of your planet where large groups of people over a large geographical area were aware that there was open contact with non-Earth beings. So, the history of your planet has come much closer to what you are asking than is readily understood. This time, when the Earth will join the Federation of Planets, which is local to your area, and typically you would be included in on the basis of geography and your position in this region of space. There is a council, there is a federation, you are correct, and you will be invited to join that federation, which is correct. And there already has been an invitation to join in a certain capacity as a probationary member of this alliance. Which was initially rejected because as a member of this alliance it is expected that you operate according to some guidelines, and those guidelines include the way the species and environment of your planet are treated. And those with the authority at the time of this offering were not willing to conform to these requirements, because it would have been very disruptive to their mode of operations and also their long-term agenda. And so they declined, and when they declined there was no conflict. The council accepted the declination and stepped away and removed their offer, understanding that all in good time, and that there will be a time when the earth will accept the invitation, because it was not unprecedented for the invitation to join a federation such as this one has been declined before. And there will be a time when this offer will be accepted, which is not too far into the future. So rather than us to explain the greater details, let's now connect you with a representative from this Federation of Planets. So we shall extend an invitation, and if it is accepted, we shall connect you. Hello, and welcome to this conversation. I am very pleased to have this opportunity to speak with you, and you could consider me as an ambassador of this Federation of Planets, which would include the Earth when the time is ready. And part of my role is to be in the very early stages of communication, prior to the official acceptance and integration of a new planet into the Federation. As such, before a planet does join a Federation, there is a lot of communication telepathically between myself and fellow members of the Federation and beings of the planet, which is up for consideration, prior to any formal and open disclosure of this process and intent. What I would like to do is just to let you know that we are willing to accept the Earth. We have been monitoring the Earth for a long time because you are in a region of space which includes us. And by us we mean all those planets that are included in this group. Included within our group are smaller groups, which are more localized. From the perspective of the human technology and the way that you understand it, we are a federation which spans a very, very large area. And we have many thousands of planets which are member, and many thousands of species also which are member. When you are inducted into this federation, then it will open the possibility for trade, and also for the exchanging of ideas, of science. There will be the opportunity for exchange programs where Earth humans will be given the opportunity to travel to the planets of other members of the Federation, and some of those shall come to Earth, and the idea will be to assimilate or integrate cultures, for the Earth culture to become familiar with cultures from other planets and understand how other planets have formed and how they have developed their cultures, what is important to them, and also for members of planets in our system, in our Federation, to also have an experience of what it means to be an Earth human, to understand the culture, and also to mentor and guide the Earth human into the next stages of change. Because once a planet is inducted into our Federation, there is generally a period of very rapid and profound change through the exchange of technologies, science, understanding of consciousness, revelation of history, and the discovering of the familial bond that you form with many other member planets and species. And we would estimate this period of rapid change would last for a couple of your centuries. And while that seems like a long time to maintain a high degree of change, it shall be easily done, because there is so much more for the human species on your planet to discover in regard to the physical and non-physical, science, technology, history, the expansion of consciousness, the connectedness of one, the understanding of the different ways there are to exist in physical form, and the different philosophies that are held by these different species. And as this knowledge grows and becomes more integrated into the human experience, then there shall be change upon change upon change. So this intense period of change shall last for approximately 2 centuries, as we said, and then following this time, the Earth human will be adept and ready to become a representative of the Federation, the same as those who come to your planet and mentor and show you what it means. This will then be your function also, because at the end of this period you will be integrated enough and expanded in awareness enough, and as powerfully masterful of consciousness enough that you will be ready to be representative of the Federation. And as the Federation expands in scope, you will have the opportunity to be the ambassadors of the Federation for new planets that are introduced into this system. The change that shall occur during this 200 to 250 years following your induction into the Federation will include massive changes to the state of the natural environment on your planet. It shall be purified, and your manufacturing and creating of the things that you need to live your everyday life shall be done in a way which is highly efficient, using energy which is abundantly and readily found, and can be drawn upon without cost. The manufacturing shall be without waste, and the consumption shall be primarily without waste, and the waste that does occur, although being very small, shall be easily reincorporated back into the natural environment. So the oceans and rivers shall become pristine, and the diverse array of fauna and flora shall repopulate and return to levels that were present prior to the expansion of human across the earth and the arrival of the era of technology. Earth humans also during this time shall develop the capacity to live much longer lifetimes. This will be done through technology and science, but it also shall be done through conscious development. So as the human being becomes more aware of its energetic higher self state, as the fifth dimensional being, then life will be longer, more passionate, and more reflective of the Earth human's true potential. Also, over this period of 200 to 250 years, the technology of the Earth human shall become greatly transformed, and the basis of your electronics shall be radically changed. And you will develop technologies which have the capacity to be sentient. And through this sentient capacity, and you will develop technology which loves you. And this technology, having love and being profoundly intelligent, will be able to create technologies which are magical in their abilities, such as devices that can manifest virtually any physical object that you wish to create, including food, clothes, machines. They shall not be assembled similar to a 3D printing device, but instead shall be manifest, extruded from the void. It will appear to be magic, that something is being created from nothing, but instead it is a demonstration of the understanding and utilization of the physical matrix and also its relationship to the underlying energetic field. included in these devices which have intelligence shall be craft that have the capacity to travel to very distant reaches of this galaxy, and these devices will do the calculation and also do the navigation and the flying. So the Earth human will be, in the most part, cargo, because these living technologies, stemming from their love for the Earth human, will wish to serve the desires of the Earth human. And so, in a functional way, it will transport humans from one region of the galaxy to another region of the galaxy almost instantaneously, under complete safety. And while in these distant regions of the galaxy, these aware devices will do their best to safeguard those humans on board and to ensure that they are kept safe and well and happy and loved, because their divine expression will be to use the technology of their body to love and protect, to serve and honour. Relationships between fellow humans will also transform to be of mutual love, mutual respect and honour, and each interaction between each fellow being will be considered a divine blessing, a meaningful happening. Not coincidence, but instead a congruent part of the intermingling of the human consciousness of the one being. So male and female of the species will continue to progenate young ones until eventually this is not necessary and humans are born into the human field through choice and no longer require the organic facilitation through the coupling of the male and the female and the gestation within the female. Eventually, humans shall enter the human field through a conscious decision to manifest as a human being, transitioning from the energetic non-physical. So there will be universal love between all humans, and there shall still be the love between males and females, which is uniquely different to other relationships. There will be an increasing in the consciousness of the natural environment, and so the biosphere and those beings in the biosphere, plants and the animals, shall become more aware and have a more conscious presence, such that Earth humans will be aware of the consciousness of the plants and the animals. There will be a capacity for communication, cooperation, and the vegetation shall be able to adapt itself much more readily and shall be able to grow rapidly when that is appropriate, grow more slowly when that is appropriate, and find ways to coexist with the earth human, which is serving to both, because the vegetation will be able to demonstrably show its love and care for you, the earth human, as you can for it. Over this period there shall also be the opportunity to become familiar with many of those species who live inside the great chambers of the earth that have been here for a long time. The several species that are there. And they shall be integrated into the earth human field and no longer spending majority of their time beneath ground, but will begin to emerge onto the earth's surface and live side by side with earth humans, cooperatively, with a mutual love, respect, honour and dignity. And the earth humans shall accept the history of who they are and recognise that they have as much right to be considered earthlings as the earthling does. And so there shall be no hostility, but instead an embracing of each other as brothers and sisters, as fellow earthlings. Also during this time there will be the opportunity for earth humans to attend gatherings which are festivals including beings from many different planets and systems. And at these great festivals there will be opportunity to observe the art, music and other forms of culture from the different planets, different species. And at the same time there will be opportunity for them to observe the culture of the earth human. There will be revelry and joy, love, and a blissful state of community where literally millions of members from many, many different planets shall descend upon a single place, a single planet, and participate in festivals which include many millions of beings from many hundreds or even thousands of races. Then eventually, at the end of this 200 to 250 year cycle, you, the earth human, will be the one who is reaching out to beings from planets that are soon to be inducted into our Federation, and it shall be you who is telling them the things that I am telling you now. And then you shall continue to be a member, you will continue to grow your own science and cultures and technologies, but you will also continue your integration into the member planets of the Federation, and the population of your planet shall become more diverse as more beings from other planets become resident of your planet and live openly side by side in your communities. And with this increased awareness of the physical integration, there shall be a parallel increase in the awareness of your non-physical integration. And you shall grow in expansiveness and become much richer, much more expanded from the point of singularity, which will give each of you a very vast magnificence of consciousness, where you have integrated your consciousness, or grown your awareness of your integration of your consciousness into the consciousness of many, many, many other beings, systems, planets, species. And this richness, this recognition of the expanded one, which we all are and continue to become more of, will transform you to something which, in relative comparison, is so much more than who you perceive yourself to be now, that it is something beyond explanation. It is so profoundly different that there is no way that we can explain it to you in a way that you would understand. So we would leave it to say that you shall be a being of so much diversity within self, because you will be a composition of so much, that you will discontinue piece by piece, bit by bit, to identify as a single being, but instead to identify as a group being, as a being of one, which is integrated into a being of one also, a much larger one. It shall begin with your integration into the humanity being, and realizing that with all other humans upon your planet you share a oneness, and then that oneness you share with humanity will continue to be integrated into more and more planets, species, systems, until your sense of oneness will include vast areas of the galaxy. You shall be integrated into a being which spans millions upon millions of light years. This is what is on the horizon for you, the Earth human. So we leave it there. We thank you for this opportunity, and I myself look forward to having the opportunity to meet many of you Earth humans in person, to shake your hand, look in your eyes, and recognize in you the love which is in myself and all those that are sentient, and to see in your eyes that you recognize the same in me, and we bond as members of the same one. Thank you, and we await your arrival into Federation. Thank you.